My beloved child, do you know the joy I feel when you finally come to me with your need? Do you realize that it delights my heart not because you are lacking, but because your lack gives me space to pour out my abundance? Too often you have been taught to hide your weakness, to pretend that you are stronger than you feel, or to carry a quiet shame when life has worn you down. But I say to you now, I am not repelled by your need. I am drawn to it. I do not ask you to prove your worth or to polish your image before you enter my presence. I ask you to come exactly as you are, weary, uncertain, even trembling. For in that very place where your strength fails, my sufficiency begins to shine. Do you not remember that I am the one who fed a crowd of thousands with a boy's small lunch? I am the one who made water flow from a rock in the wilderness. I am the one who told my servant Paul that my grace is sufficient and that my power is made perfect in weakness. So why would I despise your frailty now? Why would I turn away from the very part of you that invites me to show myself strong? You who are older in years have walked through many seasons. You have seen blessings, but also endured losses. You have built, and you have watched things fall apart. You have been praised, and you have been overlooked. And through it all, there have been moments when you thought, perhaps I should not trouble God with this. Perhaps I should endure quietly. But I tell you, I am not weary of hearing you. I am not distant or reluctant. I am the father who runs to meet the child who limps home. I am the shepherd who searches for the one who wandered off. I am the friend who draws near when everyone else walks away. Do you see then that your need is not a problem to me, but a pathway? Every hunger you bring me, every ache, every prayer whispered in the night, all of it becomes an opening where my sufficiency flows in. Think of it this way. A cracked vessel cannot hold water on its own, but when I pour living water into it, the cracks allow my grace to flow outward, touching others who thirst. Your brokenness, your weariness, even your unanswered questions, they are not wasted. They are channels through which my sufficiency will reach not only you, but also those around you. Do you remember the times in your life when you were certain you would not make it through? The days when grief seemed too heavy, when the money was too short, when the future was too uncertain. Yet here you are. Did I not carry you? Did I not provide what you needed? Not always what you wanted, but what kept you standing, breathing, and moving forward. Even now, if you look back with open eyes, you will see my fingerprints on every page of your story. My sufficiency is not a vague promise. It is real, present, and personal. When your body aches and you fear the loss of strength, I am sufficient to give you peace in your limitations. When your memory falters and the world feels confusing, I am sufficient to be your steady anchor. When loved ones have gone before you and loneliness presses in, I am sufficient to be the companion who never leaves nor forsakes you. Do not think that sufficiency means abundance in the way the world defines it. My sufficiency is not always about more money, more health, or more years. My sufficiency is the quiet assurance that whatever comes, you are not alone, and you will not be overcome. It is the steady flame that burns when every other light goes out. It is the manna that appears day by day, just enough for the journey at hand. I know that in this season of your life, you may feel the weight of questions you cannot answer. What is my purpose now that my strength has faded? What good can I still do when my days are quieter and my circle smaller? Listen closely, child. Your worth to me has never been measured by productivity, by achievements, or by how much you can offer others. Your worth is measured by my love for you, a love that has never wavered and never will. Even in the stillness of your days, you shine as my witness. Your prayers move mountains you cannot see. Your faith, even when fragile, lights a path for those who follow. Your simple trust in me is a testimony more powerful than you realize. When you bring me your emptiness, I fill it with my presence. When you bring me your fear, I cover it with my peace. When you bring me your questions, I may not always give the answers you expect, but I will give myself, and I am the answer that outlasts every other. So come to me, not with pretense, not with carefully rehearsed prayers that hide your true heart, but with honesty. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me where you feel small. Tell me where you have doubted. I do not flinch at your weakness. I do not turn my face when you admit your fear. In fact, every word of honesty becomes a doorway through which my sufficiency can enter. You see, this is what pleases me most. Not the strength you think you must show, but the surrender that allows me to be strong on your behalf. When you finally let go of striving, when you stop trying to hold everything together, you discover the wonder of being held by me. My child, I am not asking you to carry more. I am asking you to carry less, to set down what you were never meant to bear alone. Your needs are not shameful. They are sacred invitations. Each one whispers, "Let God in." And when you let me in, you will see that my sufficiency is not a one-time gift, but a daily stream, fresh and unending. So when anxiety rises in your chest, bring it to me. When uncertainty clouds your path, bring it to me. When self-doubt whispers that you are not enough, remember, you do not need to be enough, for I am more than enough. My sufficiency is not measured by your capacity, but by my eternal abundance. My beloved child, I see the weight you carry. I watch as you lie awake at night, your mind turning over the same worries again and again, like waves crashing on a restless shore. You try to reason your way into peace, but peace does not come by logic. You try to distract yourself with busyness, but the quiet always returns, and with it, the ache of unresolved questions. I tell you now, you were never meant to carry these burdens alone. The heaviness you feel is not yours to manage, it is mine to lift. From the beginning, I designed you not to live by self-sufficiency, but to walk in dependence upon me. When you insist on carrying the load yourself, you grow weary. But when you release it into my hands, I give you what you cannot manufacture, true peace. You may wonder, what does it mean to release my burdens? How do I hand over what feels so entangled with my very soul? Child, it begins with an exchange. I do not simply take your burdens away. I invite you to trade them for something greater. You give me your worry, and I give you my peace. You give me your confusion, and I give you my clarity. You give me your sorrow, and I pour into you my comfort. Do you remember my promise? Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That was not a poetic phrase, it was a living covenant. I meant every word. When you come, I will not send you away. When you entrust me with your pain, I will not leave your hands empty. I am the God of divine exchange. But hear this, my exchange does not always look the way you expect. You may long for peace to mean the removal of all troubles, but I often give you peace in the very midst of them. You may ask for clarity to mean detailed answers, but I often give you clarity of spirit, a deep assurance that I am guiding you, even if you do not see every step ahead. Think of the storms of your past. Did I always silence the winds immediately? No, sometimes I let the storm rage, but I calmed your heart within it. That calm was not the absence of trouble, it was the presence of me. And was that not enough to keep you? Was that not the very thing that carried you when you thought you would fall apart? You who are seasoned by years know that life is full of unfinished chapters and unanswered questions. You have prayed prayers that seem to go unheard. You have faced losses that left you bewildered. In those moments, it is easy to believe that clarity means explanation. But child, clarity with me often means something deeper. Trust. It means knowing, even without all the answers, that I am good, I am wise, and I am working for your eternal good. When you place your confusion into my hands, I do not always erase the mystery, but I do anchor you in myself, so that even the unknown cannot shake you. My spirit whispers, "Be still, and know that I am God." That knowing becomes clarity, not of circumstance, but of relationship. You may not understand the why, but you will understand the who, and that is enough. My beloved, I see how often you carry burdens that are not even yours to bear. You worry about your children, your grandchildren, the state of the world, the future of those you love. Your concern springs from love, but your shoulders are not strong enough for such weight. Only I can carry generations. Only I can hold the future. Your prayers are powerful, far more than you realize. But even in prayer, I call you to release the outcome to me. You sow seeds of intercession, but I alone bring the harvest. Do not think that releasing your burdens means indifference. It means entrusting. When you place your family in my hands, you are not abandoning them. You are placing them into the care of the one who loves them more than you ever could. When you give me your fears about the world, you are not ignoring reality. You are choosing to trust the reality of my sovereignty. I know it feels risky to let go. You fear that if you stop worrying, something will go wrong. But worry has never prevented disaster, nor has it ever secured blessing. Worry drains you, but faith strengthens you. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I am asking you to abandon the illusion of control. When you do, you will find peace, because peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is my presence in the midst of them. So here is my invitation. Bring me your burdens. Speak them aloud. Lay them before me without holding back. Tell me what keeps you awake at night. Tell me the questions that ache in your heart. Tell me the fears that you hide even from those closest to you. Then open your hands and release them. In return, I will place my peace upon you. Not a fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but a steady peace rooted in me. And when you are confused, do not be afraid to ask. Raise your questions honestly, but then listen. My clarity will come, though not always as you imagine. Sometimes it will come through my word, suddenly alive and glowing with light. Sometimes it will come through the counsel of a friend or the quiet stirring of my spirit. And sometimes it will come not as an answer, but as a deep inner assurance. I am with you, and that is enough. Even now, child, I long to lift the heaviness from your shoulders. I long to see you breathe freely again, to see your heart unburdened and at rest. Will you trust me enough to make the exchange? Will you dare to place into my hands the very things that trouble you most? Remember this. I am the God who never fails. I am the one who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into joy, confusion into wisdom, fear into courage. There is no burden too heavy for me, no question too complex, no sorrow too deep. Bring them all, and I will carry them. My promise to you is simple but unshakable. If you give me your burdens, I will give you peace. If you bring me your confusion, I will give you clarity. And though the peace and clarity may not always look like what you first imagined, they will be precisely what your soul needs. My beloved child, there are conversations between us that were never completed. There are moments in your journey when you began to speak, when you began to pray, when you began to trust, but then something happened. Pain struck too deeply, disappointment lingered too long, fear crept in, and you quietly pulled away. You may not even realize how often you set aside your heart's questions, thinking, perhaps God does not want to hear this. Perhaps he has already answered with silence. But I tell you now, I never closed my ears to you. I never grew weary of your voice. The words you left unsaid, the prayers you abandoned halfway, the sighs you buried inside, I have heard them all. And I am calling you to return, to reopen what you once thought was too broken to finish. There are places in your soul where pain has built a wall between us. You remember the loss of someone dear, and with it, the ache of prayers that seemed unanswered. You remember seasons of hardship when you begged for relief but still struggled for years. You remember relationships that did not heal, dreams that did not unfold, promises you thought would come differently. In those moments, you pulled back, perhaps not with words, but with silence. You learned to live around the disappointment instead of bringing it fully to me. Yet, child, I am not offended by your disappointment. I am not threatened by your questions. I do not turn away from your anger or your confusion. Instead, I invite you to bring it all into the light of my presence. For what you bury in silence becomes a weight that weakens you, but what you place before me becomes a pathway to healing. Do you remember my servant Job? He poured out every complaint, every accusation, every anguished cry. He said things that shocked his friends, words that seemed too raw to be holy. But I did not rebuke him for his honesty. I met him in the whirlwind, and there I revealed myself more deeply than before. It was not Job's silence that pleased me. It was his willingness to bring his unfiltered heart into my presence. I want the same from you. Do not think you must tidy up your words before you speak to me. Do not imagine that reverence means hiding your true feelings. Reverence is not pretending. Reverence is trusting me enough to bring your heart in its truest form. So let us return to those unfinished conversations. Speak again of the disappointment that made you retreat. Tell me where you felt I had forgotten you. Tell me the moments when you prayed with all your strength and still saw no change. I can bear your honesty. In fact, your honesty is the very place where transformation begins. Perhaps you fear that revisiting these wounds will only reopen old pain. But child, wounds that are never touched cannot fully heal. I am the great physician, and my healing requires your permission. When you let me touch the tender places of your soul, when you invite me into the rooms you have kept locked, I will not wound you further. I will cleanse, restore, and bring freedom. Do you not remember the times when you did bring me your brokenness? Did I not comfort you? Did I not meet you, even if not in the way you expected? You know this truth. Every time you have risked honesty with me, you have found not rejection, but embrace. Why then hold back now? You may look at the years behind you and think, it is too late to revisit these things. I should have settled them long ago. But listen carefully. It is never too late with me. Time does not diminish my love, nor does it erase my willingness to heal. Even in your later years, I can redeem what was lost. Even now, I can breathe peace into memories that still ache. Consider Abraham, who waited decades for the promise of a son. Did I not fulfill my word, even in his old age? Consider Moses, who thought his usefulness had ended after 40 years in the wilderness. Did I not call him at 80 to lead my people? Consider Simeon and Anna, who waited until the end of their days to see the Messiah. Did I not let their eyes behold the Savior before they closed in death? So too will I redeem your waiting, your silence, your unfinished prayers. My beloved, I want you to know this. There is no part of you I avoid. You do not have to hide your regrets, your failures, your anger at the past. Bring them into my presence, and I will transform them into something you could not imagine. Regret will become wisdom. Failure will become testimony. Anger will become surrender, and surrender will become peace. Even your doubts can become stepping stones. Doubt brought honestly before me leads to deeper faith. Remember Thomas, who demanded to see my scars. Did I cast him out? No, I invited him closer. I showed him the very wounds in my hands and side. His doubt became the soil where unshakable faith took root. In the same way, your doubts are not barriers when you bring them to me. They are invitations to encounter me more deeply. So here, in this season of your life, let us reopen the conversation. Let us sit together, not as strangers, but as father and child, as shepherd and sheep, as friend with friend. You may think the time for such intimacy has passed, but I tell you, it is only beginning. Your later years can be your deepest years with me, if you will dare to be honest again. I promise you this, I will not waste your questions. I will not waste your tears. I will not waste your anger or your disappointments. Every piece of your unfinished conversation will be woven into a tapestry of redemption. What once felt like silence will one day reveal itself as my preparation. What once felt like abandonment will shine as proof of my nearness. My beloved child, do you know what delights me most? Not the perfection you try to present, not the polished prayers you think sound holy, not the mask of strength you wear to convince even yourself that you are unshaken. What moves my heart is your honesty. The moment you stop pretending and let me see you as you are, that is the place where transformation begins. You have lived long enough to know that life is not tidy. It is full of twists, disappointments, regrets, and joys woven together. You have moments of deep faith, but also moments of quiet doubt. Times when you feel strong in prayer, and times when you feel your words bounce back in silence. You have carried anger you dared not speak, questions you dared not raise, grief you dared not share, and yet I have seen it all. You do not shock me. You do not drive me away. Child, I formed you. I know every thought before it rises in your mind. I know the words before they fall from your tongue. So why hide? Why hold back from the one who already sees the depths? Your honesty does not push me away. It draws me nearer. Because honesty is not rebellion. It is trust. When you dare to show me the truth of your soul, you are saying, I believe you love me enough to hear this. Look at the saints who walked before you. David, a man after my own heart, poured out psalms full of praise, but also of lament, even accusation. He cried, How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? And I did not turn him away. His honesty became worship. His rawness became poetry. His weakness became a witness. Think of Jeremiah, who spoke of despair so heavy that he wished he had never been born. Yet I called him my prophet. Or of Elijah, who collapsed under the weight of fear and exhaustion, begging for death. Did I rebuke him? No. I gave him rest, food, and my quiet whisper of reassurance. And do you remember my son in Gethsemane, who prayed with sweat like blood, asking for the cup to pass? Even in his honesty, he was not abandoned. Angels came to strengthen him. So if David, Jeremiah, Elijah, and even Jesus himself were not ashamed to speak their anguish openly, why should you? Your honesty does not diminish your faith. It refines it. Faith is not pretending everything is fine. Faith is bringing everything, even your unrest, into my presence. Beloved, the path of transformation is not paved with denial. It is walked with truth. As long as you hide behind polite prayers or keep your disappointments locked away, those wounds cannot be healed. But when you bring them into the light, when you say, Lord, here is my confusion, here is my anger, here is my regret, then I can begin to mend what is broken. Transformation is not about becoming someone you are not. It is about becoming more fully who I created you to be, whole, free, alive in my spirit. And that process begins with truth-telling. It begins with you choosing to stop running from yourself and instead bringing your full self to me. Do not fear that your honesty will offend me. What offends me is pretense, the falsehood that says, I need no help, I have no weakness, I am fine without you. But a trembling confession of truth, no matter how raw, is precious to me. I can work with truth. I can heal truth. I can transform truth. Child, I know there are memories you would rather forget, regrets you wish you could undo. I see the moments you replay in your mind, wondering what might have been if you had chosen differently, spoken differently, loved more fully. Do not bury those things in silence. Bring them to me. Honesty about your past opens the way for me to redeem it. I cannot rewrite history, but I can transform its weight. Regret can become wisdom. Failure can become compassion. Brokenness can become strength. And I know, too, the fears you carry about the future. Will you be remembered? Will you be forgotten? Will your health fail you? Will loneliness overtake you? Do not pretend these fears do not exist. Speak them to me. Name them and watch how my presence changes them. For honesty about the future opens the way for me to give you hope.